For me, I'm glad it's Friday. Been a long week, and been pumping out these videos, hoping people are watching them. And I reached 100 subscribers yesterday, so that's exciting. I'm really happy about that, and I appreciate all y'all's support. So let's get started talking about the tropics. It's been pretty active, really active over the past few weeks now. Of course, we have Erin up here. We have now 90L designated here. We have 99L out here in the main development region. 90L doesn't look too healthy right now, but we'll talk about that and the future track of both these. And I can tell you off the top that the only really threat that I'm seeing in the next 7 days, really, for a tropical system, at least right now, is maybe 90L impacting Bermuda. Other than that, we'll just go. What we'll do is we'll go through the model guidance. I'll show you some surface wind analysis and why I think this 99L already has a closed circulation. So I'm not really sure why National Hurricane Center hasn't given tropical depression status. I'll show you why I think that. We'll go over some model guidance for these things. In the second half of the video, we're going to talk about the weather in the continental United States and the nice cool weather, lot cooler weather is supposed to come through the push down most continental U.S. Basically east of the Rockies next week, so it's going to be nice. So this is the latest advisories from the National Hurricane Center. Now they're giving this AL90, 90L a 80% chance of development next 7 days, 70% next 48 hours. Little disturbance out here, 10%. Not much of a chance of it doing much. It's small anyway, and it'll likely not impact anybody when it does develop. We have Erin moving away. See max sustained winds have decreased in 90 miles per hour, but the wind field has become really large. And we have 99L out here now. It's saying here the latest satellite-derived wind data indicate the system does not have a well-defined circulation center. Maybe that's the reason, but they've really increased the chances over time here that's developing now over 7 days, 60% medium chance. So we'll have to keep an eye on this as it moves towards the Lesser Antilles here. Previously, they were thinking it wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't make it past here, but now they changed their thinking on it. It's remained south in the low level flow. So if it makes it through the Caribbean into this area here, who knows what could happen? We'll just have to see. So this is the latest surface wind estimate, surface wind field estimate from the National Hurricane Center for Erin as of 2 a.m. See how large the tropical storm force winds are, all the way up into Martha's Vineyard and impacting Bermuda as well. They probably should have had a tropical storm warning here, but they didn't, apparently. And this is just a graphic that shows the wind field of Erin as it got larger. You see, it's just incredible. Tropical storm force winds all the way between the East Coast and Bermuda as it passed through there. It's incredible, isn't it? So, talking about 90L, there's a disturbance up here. And 99L, which is down, roughly down here somewhere. There's satellites that polar orbiting satellites that help measure surface wind data as they orbit the Earth in a polar orbit. So they, one after the other, go from north to south or south to north, and they scan certain parts of the ocean. And these are combined images of those different satellites. What you're seeing here is the surface winds associated with the latest analysis from those satellites, satellite-derived wind data, surface wind data, showing trough axis here with 90L, but no close circulation. Right, you can see that here. The trough, inverted trough, going this way, but no close circulation. Right, so when we look at 90L, what happened with that again? Okay, here we go. You see the satellite wind-derived data. Trying to figure out what time this is from with the latest passes. You can see here there's definitely a broad closed circulation winds coming from the east, north, west, south. But maybe there's not enough convection or the winds aren't strong enough because the winds are only 10 to 24 knots, which I still would think would classify as a tropical depression. Maybe they're not concentrated enough. Maybe it's too broad. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get a depression here. Next advisory at 5 a.m. I don't know. Just have to see. Wind speed 30 knots. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm trying to figure out why they haven't issued advisories on it, but nonetheless, they haven't. And so we'll just have to see what happens here. So when we look at the Euro AI model, like we all, and the Euro and the Google DeepMind, excuse me, model output, we look at this every day. They want to develop a tropical depression 99L and then really lose it as it moves to the Caribbean. Now the models, most of the models agree here that 90L at least become a tropical storm as it moves out to sea there. And we have maybe a tropical depression off the in the Eastern Pacific as well. So, back to Erin real quickly. This is just a significant height and direction of combined wind waves and swells model. You can see where the wind waves and swells are most concentrated in direction of them as it moves out to sea here. You see 90L, how small it's going to be in its wind field compared to Erin. This is also another look at the peak wave period and direction of combined wind waves and swells. See as it moves through time here where the peak wave period and direction, where the deeper colors are, the wave period's a lot quicker, and it radiates out here. It becomes extratropical all the way out, to the European continent and Africa. Pretty crazy. So I'm going back to analyzing 90L and 99L. 90L here, 99L here. And this is the European ensemble model guidance showing the 51 members in each ensemble. Each little red dot is one member and the pressure associated with that member. So this is the model output. Want to get something going now right around Bermuda. You'd see it doesn't really do anything with 99L at all as it moves to the west. What is the GEFS ensemble show? Roughly the same thing, really. It looks a little bit further to the west. The pressure centers with 90L and 99L loses it, really. Here it is out here, roughly. And then not much left of it as it reaches the Caribbean Sea. As far as at the surface, what the GFS model is looking at here with 90L and 99L. Here you have 99L, 90L, Erin moving out to sea. Wants to start developing 90L into a tropical depression, tropical storm maybe, as it goes out in the North Atlantic. Very small circulation here, very small. There's a different look at that. There's an 850 millibar centers with a 500 millibar flow pattern, mid-level flow pattern, which drives direction of cyclones as they get more vertically stacked or have more vertical coherence, let's just say. So you see the vortex with 90L moving. See how small it is compared to Erin? Tiny, tiny thing. Right to the east of Bermuda. Wind field is so small, I wonder if they even feel effects from it, but we'll just have to see. And here's 99L's vortex. Never really gets a closed circulation here. Kind of loses it go through time. If you see what's happening here in the 500 millibar flow, the deep trough along the eastern U.S. building in and pulling whatever this becomes out to sea here. Mid-level humidities, we look at this every day to kind of get an idea what the environment's going to be like around these systems. You have 90L moving north, and 99L is surrounded by quite a bit of dry air here. $90L moving up and gaining, kind of gaining its own little pocket of moisture. Really, again, 99L, at least right now, doesn't look like it's going to do much. So what's the one of the hurricane models show? The HAFS-A hurricane model show, HAFS-B, HAFS-B parent. This is just a part of the hurricane model suite, intensification, and these models are designed to model specifically hurricanes and tropical systems here. So this is at 6 starting today at 6Z. Nothing. There's Erin. Wants to get something going here. And deepen it to maybe Cat 1 hurricane as it passes to the east of Bermuda. with extra tropical low kind of picking it up here as it goes to the north. Sea surface temps for this system are, they're optimal really, and it's not going to fall over the path that Erin took. So, although the sea's going to be churned up, the temps are still way over minimum. So, that's not going to be an issue here with this developing. When we look at the upper level flow affecting these systems, right? Pretty strong low level winds, upper level winds, sorry, and the surface here. Upper level winds kind of really not doing this disturbance any real service down here. And what's likely going to happen here is this, at least according to GFS, there's going to be upper level high developing over it as it moves to the north. See, right now it's kind of embedded in a troughiness there. That's supposed to move out of the way. Likely feeling some baroclinic effects, and then from enhancement based on positive interactions with the deep trough. You see how deep that is there off the into Canada. So, um, one other thing I'm going to look at too is the 250 shear here starting today. Not very favorable environment surrounding. I mean, there's a high pressure aloft here, but there's really strong winds on both sides there. Same here, and well, this has some divergence to the north here. There's some winds impinging on the east side. Like I said, there's a high pressure that wants to develop over top of this. But the shear is incredible once it moves further north. So it has a small window of opportunity to intensify. We'll just have to see what happens. But the shear in the Caribbean Sea is forecast to be quite strong here as we move through time, and maybe lessen as we get further away in the period. But you can see it's pretty strong all the way through. So likely going to shear anything apart that tries to make it this far west in the Caribbean. If it does make it, the vortex does make it into the Gulf, then you got the potential for development. But shear is not favorable here at all, at least for most of it, which is not uncommon this time of year. All right, so the general theme on what's going on, the system, I think, 90L has a good chance of becoming a tropical storm or hurricane as it moves north towards Bermuda. And it's going to be quite small, so if it does develop and it develops a small vortex, it could intensify quickly depending on its environmental conditions surrounding it. Small vortexes are subject to wild fluctuations in intensity based on their environment, small changes in the environment. So if it is able to get going, it could intensify quickly, and it depends how close it comes to Bermuda whether we'll see effects or not. But over the weekend, we'll get a better idea what's going to happen here. Although the models seem to be converging on it's going to develop, but just how strong it will get is unknown. And as far as 99L, if it doesn't get going before it reaches the Caribbean, it's not. I don't think it's going to do anything. And you can see later in the period, I'm going to show you this too. People looking at GFS run here wants to develop a low pressure off the southeast coast due to interactions with the upper level trough. This looks to be non-tropical in nature based on what I'm seeing here. If this does happen, you could have a mini nor'easter like system move through. So that's it for the tropics. I'm gonna go over the forecast for the continental United States for the weekend coming up here. Stay tuned. Not infrared, mid-level water vapor. You can see where the driest air is here uh, at the low levels as well. There's Erin out here. You can see a lot of moisture in the southeast and the deep south with perturbations in the flow moving through here. We had a bunch of storms come through middle Georgia earlier overnight, rained pretty heavy for a while. And also on the periphery of this, see the circulation around this high here, moisture being pulled into the Pacific up into the Rockies, Intermountain West, off the coast here. Monsoon moisture and going all the way up into Canada. So, what's the outlook for the temperatures in the next couple weeks, next 14 days? Good probability of cooler than normal temperatures in a good portion of the U.S., except for the Northwest and the deep South in Florida. All the way cooler than average for a good portion of the country again, except for the northern tier, which seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? And the southern tier here. In the middle of the country, likely a stall frontal boundary in this area, some kind, cloud cover, things like that contributing cooler than normal. But this shows they have this deep blue shows they have a lot of confidence that the National Weather Service does is going to be cooler than normal. The 27th through the 31st, which is 5 days from now. Although it's going to start cooling off already here in the Northeast. But so, what's driving this pattern? This is the flow at the mid levels. We have Erin out here. This is a GFS model, the global GFS. High pressure out here being suppressed, push westward, deep, low pressure developing over Canada, broad northwest flow with perturbations in the flow, likely a cold front moving through, trying to move through at some point here. Northwest flow aloft, which could bring the chance for storms that maybe MCSs that move through the flow here. And towards the end of the period, it wants to develop a mid-level cyclone, which spins up a low pressure off the coast here. Wants to move it on, and I'm not convinced it's going to be tropical, given the nature of the environment surrounding it. But you never know with these kind of systems. And the thing is, the previous run didn't have it. The one before it had something. So this model is going back and forth with this. So we'll just have to see how this plays out. The GFS is notorious for overdoing vorticity. So we'll just have to see. But as far as future radar goes, we have some severe storms ongoing. This is the HRRR convection allowing model, short-term model guidance for the next 2 days. Storms over the high plains here, South Dakota, Minnesota. And of course, in the southeast, we have just general rain and storms, cloud cover, and surrounding this high pressure where that moisture is out west. You see storms building up overnight, moving northwest through the flow here, from the northwest to the southeast, and again overnight. And a lot of stuff in the Gulf Coast area too. So, what the temperature is going to look like over the next 48 hours? We go through today. Southeast is going to remain relatively cool-ish because of cloud cover. The middle part of the country is going to warm up quite a bit, but the hottest temperatures out west, of course, with the high pressure there. And you can see the low temps at night are cooling off quite a bit in the northern tier. And even tomorrow, Saturday into Sunday. Saturday it's going to be a lot of cloud cover again and rain over the weekend, and in the middle part of the country, highs in the 90s, but nothing extreme. Of course, in the west, it's going to be hot again. But see, we see the beginnings of this cooler air pushing in here in the northern tier towards on Sunday. Total precipitation over the weekend. You see this area up here was talking about with the convection in the southeast, focused a lot in South Carolina into Georgia, North Dakota, and the Midwest here, up into Canada, and some out west here. And this is moving through the northwest flow here. Likely a stalled funnel boundary right here. And as I talked about, temperatures will be modulated to some degree by cloud cover in the southeast and eastern U.S. And this is just a model showing that cloud cover and how it just hangs around. It's not going to be as hot, partially because of it, really, mostly because of it. And you can see the low pressure developing up here, frontal boundary moving to the south here over time, maybe clearing out by Sunday morning a little bit. So, main theme is moving into next week. We're going to have a sharp cold front moving through and bringing cooler temps to a good portion of the U.S. starting next week. After we get through the weekend, and hotter temps should be. Unfortunately, I think the hot temps are going to remain out here out west because, especially up in the northwest, because of the high pressure building up there. So, when you have a deep trough on the East Coast, in the east, you got responsive high pressure aloft, or vice versa. You got a high pressure building over here, low pressure building here. The stronger each one of it is, they compensate for each other, and that's what happens. That's just the way the weather works. So that's it for today, folks, and I hope y'all get something out of this.